So we are reading from Bhagavad Gita, 10th chapter, verse 2. Na me vidu suragana prabhavam na maharshah aham adiri devanam maharshinam cha sarvashah. Translation. Neither the host of demigods nor the great sages know my origin or opulence, for in every respect I am the source of the demigods and the sages. These speculators, due to contamination in the material energy, still think that the impersonal Brahman is the supreme. Only the devotees who are fully surrendered unto the Supreme Lord can understand by the grace of the Supreme Personality that He is Krishna. The devotees of the Lord do not bother about the impersonal Brahman conception of God. Their faith and devotion bring them to surrender immediately into the Supreme Lord, and out of the causeless mercy of Krishna, they can understand Krishna. No one else can understand Him. So even great sages agree. What is Atma? What is the Supreme? It is He whom we have to worship. Om Ajnana-timirandasya Jnana-shalakaya Chakshurunmitannena Tasmai Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So this is a very wonderful verse. So here what we see, so Lord Krishna is explaining, neither the hordes of demigods nor the great sages know my origin, all opulences. For in every respect I am the source of the demigods and the sages. So what we see in the material world, even though the demigods, they are on the higher level compared to human beings, but still they cannot understand the Supreme Lord. And we have a great number of examples in the Bhagavatam, from Brahma to Lord Shiva to Indra. So Prabhupada is explaining very nicely in the purport how even Krishna here explains. So here one of our Acharya explains that Maharsha means the great sages. So there are 7 sages. Anyone knows? They are called Saptarishis. And there are 7 stars, 7 planets. They are stars, they are planets. So basically, in one sense, they are more qualified than the other sages. So it is mentioned that there are 33 million demigods, and how many sages are there? Saptakoti. 7 million sages are there. There are different varieties. Now Maharshi means the top among the sages. And Prabhupada quotes here in the beginning Brahma Samhita. So we know the verse Ishvara Parama Krishna Satchidananda Vigraha Anadiradir Govinda Sarva Karna. So Krishna is the cause of all causes, and we should know that when the Lord, He starts the creation, so the Brahma is born, and from Brahma, so Brahma is given the knowledge of creating the 84 lakh species of life. And in the Srimad Bhagavatam, Narad Muni explains that from these 3 daughters of Daksha, anyone knows which are the 3 daughters of Daksha? Akuti, Prasuti and Diti. Okay? From them, all the species of life, human beings, demigods and demons. So all these 84 lakh species. In the species there are 2 varieties. One is no. Among the species, one that doesn't move, what it is called? Achara. Chara means that which moves. Okay. So all these, they are born from Brahma. So now in material world, actually our acharyas, what they explain, now since these big demigods, they can't understand, the sages can't understand, how can the materialistic people, how they can understand? And what Prabhupada explains in the purport, that material qualification is not the criteria to understand the Supreme Lord. So material in today's world, what we see, even in our ISKCON also, sometimes We think, yes, this guy is IIT qualified. Well, okay, that is not a big criteria. So, but one has to be on a higher level to understand the Supreme Lord. And what Prabhupada writes, that how in one sense that which is ununderstandable, how that can be understood. So that we have to understand. So now we can't give up the hope. Now if we see in something, sometimes we say you can't make any logic. There is one nice story. One time a logician came to a farmer, and this farmer, his bull was going around, and he told the farmer, how do you know that your bull is working? So he said there is a bell in his neck and constantly there is a sound going on. So this logician, what he said, if the bull stands at one place and he just rotates his neck, so the bell will ring. So then farmer, what he said, he is not a logician like you. He is a bull. He is not using extra intelligence. So he is not using extra intelligence like you. So in material world, what Prabhupada has given one nice class on this lecture. On this verse, what Prabhupada explains, in this material world there are so many libraries full of books speculating, only speculation and speculation. There is no end to that. There is one real pastime when Prabhupada was in Vrindavan one time. So two big scholars, they were visiting Vrindavan and they were visiting our temple, and Prabhupada was sitting in the courtyard, and some devotee, he brought them to Prabhupada, and he told Prabhupada they are very highly qualified scholars. So Prabhupada said, okay. Then he told, can you tell who is the Supreme Personality of Godhead? So these both guys, they were very much confused. So what they said, Swamiji, it is not so easy to conclude who is the Supreme Lord. So one Gurukul boy was playing in the temple courtyard. So he was just 5 years old. So Prabhupada called him. So that boy, he came running, and Prabhupada, he opened the prasadam box, he closed it. So that boy he was taken back. So he couldn't understand why Prabhupada called. So Prabhupada asked him, can you tell who is the Supreme Personality of Godhead? So the boy, he made one statement, yes, Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So Prabhupada took out one prasadam, laddu, whatever it was. So Prabhupada, he told, stand back. So Prabhupada, he told him, tell again. So this boy again, he gave the same answer. So Prabhupada gave him another prasad in another hand. So he was looking, he was very happy. So Prabhupada said, okay, carry on. So now Prabhupada, he told the scholars, you see, this boy is just 5 years old. He knows who is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And you people, despite studying all these scriptures and other things, you are still speculating. You are not sure who is the Supreme. So this is a big question in one sense in material world. And Bhagavad Gita, what we see, 7.25, what Krishna explains, Naham prakasha sarvasya yogo maya samanvita mudoyam na abhijanati loko mam ajam aveyam. So now what we see, what Krishna explains, that, O Arjuna, as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, I know everything. So this is second verse later on. So what Krishna explains, that I am not manifest to the foolish, those who are foolish. I am not manifest to the foolish people in the material world. Naham prakasha sarvasya yogo maya samanvita. So yoga maya means Krishna is covered for them by the yoga maya curtain. And because of this Yoga Maya curtain, they do not know that Krishna is unborn and infallible. So during the Mahabharata time, when Krishna was doing his manifest pastime, that time only few people they knew that Krishna is the Supreme Lord. The Pandavas, Kunti Maharani, Bhishma, Dronacharya, Vidura, some of these people, only handful people they knew that is Krishna is the Supreme Lord. So whereas Karna and all Duryodhana, all his party members, they never bothered to know how Krishna is powerful, how Krishna is supreme. So what they were thinking is Krishna has some Maya powers. What they thought, Krishna has some extraordinary powers. So in material world, what we see, like people, they more or less they speculate. What Prabhupada he writes, in the material world there are so many people, they are philosophers, they are writers, they are poets, they are beating around the bush. So in today's world also, you will find so many people, they speak on God, and they don't they use the terminology God, Supreme, and so many nonsense things but they don't find any point at Krishna. They don't point out at Krishna as the Supreme. So there are many big orators, they are giving their so-called misguided followers so many things on God, how to realize God. So this is all nonsense in one sense. What Prabhupada writes, that yes, in the Srimad Bhagavatam, in the first canto, in the second chapter, there is one nice verse. Vadanti tat vidam tattvam yajnanam advayam brahmeti paramatmeti bhagwaniti shabdete. So there are three criteria to understand the Supreme Lord. Like when we go to the school, immediately we can't understand this mathematics. A child, it has to be taught 1, 2, 3, 4, then gradually he will learn 1 plus 1, then he will come to trigonometry, algebra, like that. So it takes time to come to the higher mathematics. So similarly, in understanding the Supreme Lord, there are three things that we have to understand. It is mentioned that the absolute truth is realized in three phases of understanding by the knowers of the absolute truth, and all of them are identical. Such phase of the absolute truth are expressed as Brahman, Paramatma and Bhagwan. So Prabhupada gives one nice analogy, like there is a sun god. Anyone knows what is the name of sun god? Vivashwan. So okay, now there is one sun planet. Also there is a sun planet, some light is coming. So there are three aspects to understand that yes, there is one person, Vivaswan, there is a planet, and that light which comes, that comes from the sun. So these are the three different parts of the sun. So it's very easy to understand in one sense. So also in Brahma Samhita there is one nice verse. So it is mentioned that not in Brahma Samhita, in the Bhagavatam second canto, there are the 4 verses of Srimad Bhagavatam, Chatushloki Bhagavatam, one verse in which the Lord explains to Brahma, Aham evasam evagre nanyat yatsat asat param pashat aham etad echatte visheshatasma aham. So what Krishna explains to Brahma, that it is I, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who was existing before the creation, when there was nothing but myself, nor was there the material nature, the cause of this creation. That which you see now is also I am, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and after annihilation, what remains will also be I, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So this is what Lord Vishnu tells Brahma in the Srimad Bhagavatam. And in Srimad Bhagavatam there is one nice verse which mentions that how rare people in understanding, like in Bhagavad Gita also Krishna explains that Bahunam Janamnam Ante Jnanavan Mam Prapadyate Vasudevam Sarviti Sa Mahatma Sudurlabha. One is Durlabha, Sudurlabha means very difficult. So similar, there is one verse in Bhagavatam, Muktanam api siddhanam Narayana Parayana Sudurlabha Prashantatma Kotishva api Mahamune. So it is mentioned that among the millions who are liberated and perfect, it is mentioned that perfection in knowledge of liberation, one may be a devotee of the Narayan or Krishna. Such devotees who are fully peaceful and they are extremely rare. So now, as per today's verse, so in the Srimad Bhagavatam, there is a nice verses of Gajendra, praised by Gajendra. So we'll try to understand by 2 verses how Gajendra, he glorifies the Lord. So in one verse, what Gajendra explains, an artist on stage being covered by attractive dresses and dancing with different movements is not understood. what he explains, by his audience. Similarly, the activities and features of the supreme artist cannot be understood even by the demigods or sages, what Gajendra explains, and certainly not by those who are unintelligent like animals. Neither the demigods and sages nor the unintelligent can understand the features of the Lord, nor can they express in words his actual position. So this is what Gajendra, what he explains, that what today Krishna explains, the same thing is explained by Gajendra. And in another verse, nice verse, Gajendra, what he explains, Namo Namaste Akhila Karanaya, Nishkramanaya Bhuta Karanaya, Sarvagamanyaya Mahanavaye, Namo Aparvargaya Parayanaya. What he explains that, my Lord, you are the cause of all causes, but you yourself have no cause. Now here it is very clear that what he explains, but you yourself have no cause. Therefore you are the wonderful cause of everything. I offer my respectful obeisance unto you. We take shelter of the Vedic knowledge contained in the Shastras like Pancharatra and Vedanta Sutra, which are, he explains, your representations, and who are the source of Parampara system. Because it is you who have given liberation, you are the only shelter for all transcendentalists. Now today's world, what we see, in today's material world, there are many countries, so they are making so many objects, from electronics to computers and so many other things, and they are being patented. They are being patented in America. So America every year they are putting 50 to 60,000 items for patenting. So this year there was a news that Chinese, they have put 70,000 items for patenting. So now in one sense, if you want to know, if you ask these people, yes, you are making all so many things, so where you get the raw material from? It's a common sense, isn't it? Like one time Prabhupada was on morning walk in Bombay, and one businessman, he was following from behind, and Prabhupada just certainly asked, just casually he asked him, yes, what do you do? So he said, I have a glass factory. What he said, I have a glass making factory. So what Prabhupada asked him, yes, how the glass is being manufactured? He said, it is from the sand. So Prabhupada, he questioned him, who made this sand? So he just made hand, just looking at the sky. So then Prabhupada, he told him, yeah, you are a thief. You are not making the glass on your own, but you are stealing the raw material from the Lord. So the sand is made by the Lord. So how you can claim that you have made this? And practically, if we see today's world, they want to make a material progress, but they don't understand that everything from that crude oil to everything that is coming from the material earth. What Krishna explains, Bhumir Apanala Vayu Kham Mano Buddhirevacha. These are his separated energies. So Krishna has not put any this thing, stamp on this. Okay, you can't use that because all we are the children of the Supreme Lord. But in material world, what we see more or less, the people, those who are on a higher strata of material life, so although they are so much educated, qualified, but they don't know what is next. Like when Prabhupada was in Russia, so he met one big scientist. His name was Professor Kotowski. So he asked him just, Kotowski, yes, now you are grown old. So what do you think about your next life? So what Kotowski, he said, Swamiji, there is no next life. Only whatever you do, only in this life. No one knows about the next life. So this kind of people are there in the material world. So they are having a good time, whatever they do. But in the end, what they think, everything is zero. That is one kind of a misunderstanding. They don't have the proper understanding. So also in Brahma Samhita, there is one nice verse, Pantastu koti shatavastra sampragamyo vayo rathapi manaso munipungavaanam sopyasti yat prabhadya simnya avichinta tatve govindam adi purusham tamaham bhajami. So it is mentioned that the conditioned souls may try to understand the Supreme Personal Godhead for billions of years through their mental speculative processes. traveling at the speed of mind or the wind, but still the absolute truth will remain inconceivable to them, because a materialistic person cannot measure the length and breadth of the Supreme Personal Godhead's unlimited existence. Prabhupada, he mentions one nice story about Kupa Manduka Nyaya. There are so many logics. There's one Kupa Manduka Nyaya means, Kupa means a well, Manduka means, anyone knows? Frog. Okay. So Kupa Manduka Nyaya means there were two frogs, they were living in a well. One was a scientist and one was a sportsman. So one time the sportsman, somehow he did a high jump, he came out of the well and he went for a morning walk, and what Prabhupada writes, he went into Atlantic Ocean. Now all of you know how long it is, how deep it is. So this frog, he came back and he told this scientist frog who was doing his calculations. So what he said, see, I went today and I saw a big ocean, there is no end to that. So now this scientist frog, he started boasting. He started building up his body. So he said, this big, this way, he got exploded. His body got exploded. So material world, what Prabhupada writes, these people, they do so many speculations, but they can't come to a proper conclusion. So one time, one big scientist came to Prabhupada and he had written a big manual about how grass grows. So what Prabhupada, he asked him, can you grow that grass? You have written such a big manual. And there are people, okay, forget about God. There are people, if you go to, there are this thing, some scientists, they are studying about these different animals, like from ape to this, especially wild cats and other things. So they do a big study, big research on them, and even they are getting so much research grants on that. So such kind of people are there in the material world. So now here, basically today's verse, what Krishna explains, forget about all these materialistic people who are on a lower. There are, anyone knows how many categories of human beings total, from the top to bottom, from No, 84 lakh there are species. Now I am asking, among the humans, there are humans, demigods and demons. Okay, these are the three. But now there are many other demigods, different levels. The sages are there. There are Gandharvas, Kinnaras, Kimpurusha. So this way there are 17. There are a list of 17 different kinds of humans. From demons, the demigods, humans. So this way. And these people are highly intellectual. These people, in one sense, they are highly intellectual. So once they can't understand, how we can understand? This is the question. Now, there is one nice verse by Yamraj. So when these Yamdutas, they came to Yamraj empty-handed. So that time, Yamraj, he quoted one nice verse. Dharma tu sakshat bhagavad pranitam na vai vidur rishayo napi devata na siddha mukhaya asura manushya kuto no vidyadara charanadaya. Now he has given the different list of people. There is no the complete list is not there. What he explains, that real religious principles are enacted by the Supreme Personal Godhead. Although fully situated in the mode of goodness, even the great rishis who occupy the topmost planets, they are siddhas, cannot ascertain the real religious principles. Nor can the demigods or the leaders of the siddhas, siddha loka, to say nothing about the asuras, ordinary human beings, vidyadharas, charanas. So now, what Krishna today explains, because the demigods, they are on a top level, and even the maharshis, they are more, those are siddhas, they live with Brahma. The siddhas, they are living with Brahma. So this kind of people, they can't understand how we can understand. So Baldev Vidyabhushan, what he explains, that because the demigods, they are always engrossed in sense gratification. Demigods, they are always engrossed in sense gratification. So they least bother, they don't care for what is happening. So at least, what about the Maharshi, big Maharshis, they also can't understand this. So Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur explains, because they don't understand, because Krishna has created them. And what he explains, the children, they don't know the cause of the father's birth. He gives the example, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur explains that a child, he doesn't know how his father is. So when he grows up, he knows. But as when they are children, say they don't know how exactly how their father is born. So here we should understand. So what Prabhupada writes in the purport, that which cannot be known, how that can be known. Now this is a big question. So what Prabhupada puts forward, that which cannot be known, how that can be known. Now can anyone guess? Now today we are speaking about the Lord, he cannot be known. So Prabhupada, he gives an answer. So you have to listen to that Prabhupada lecture at 10.2. So Prabhupada, he quotes from Chaitanya Charitamrita. Atha Sri Krishna Namadi na bhaved grahe indriye seven mukhi jivado swayam eva spurothe atha. So what the translation is that material senses cannot appreciate Krishna's holy name, form, qualities and pastimes. When a conditioned soul is awakened to Krishna consciousness and renders service by using the tongue to chant the holy name and taste the remnant of Lord Krishna's prasadam, okay, food, the tongue is purified and one gradually comes to understand Krishna who really is, okay. So now for that, oftentimes Prabhupada, he used to tell his devotees, you should eat only Krishna prasad. That should be the criteria. So if we regularly honor Krishna prasad, so gradually what will happen, that our material senses, they become purified when we chant again and again. So what happens, so whatever is dirt there in the heart, so gradually it becomes cleansed and one comes to the stage of understanding the Supreme Lord. So Rupa Goswami writes in Nectar of Devotion, Ado Shraddha Tata Sadhu Sangha Tata Bhajana Kriya Tata Anartha Nivritti Shat. So from Anartha Nivritti, then gradually there are different stages. There are total 9 stages. When we get situated on Bhava Bhakti, after that we come to Prema Bhakti. So to come to Bhava Bhakti, it takes a good amount of time. Like when you are making some nice sweets, it takes a good amount of time. You just can't make a sweet in 5 minutes. It's not possible. So similarly in devotional service, to come to that high level of maturity, it takes a good amount of time. So one time one gentleman was asking Prabhupada, so how much it takes, how many years it takes for one to come to a mature level in Krishna consciousness. So Prabhupada, he told him at least 30 to 40 years on an average. So that is what Prabhupada, he told him. So now we'll go for our Acharya's commentary. So Sridhar Swami, he explains that incomprehensibility is being given as reason for repeating what had already been previously stated. Neither the 33 million demigods who are Lord Krishna's servants are responsible for the universal management throughout total material existence, nor the great sages such as Bhrigu knowledgeable about his divine appearance and disappearance. This is because he alone is the sole cause of all causes, gods and demigods and the sages. Everything else in their respect, the Lord is the creator, and as the indwelling monitor directing their intelligence. Therefore, without Lord Krishna's bestowing his grace, it is not possible to know him. So also Prabhupada writes, like unless, like if I come to a place, unless I give my, credentials, how do you know who am I? So what he explains here, Sridhar Swami, unless Krishna, he tells that yes, I am so and so, so it is very difficult to know. So then, as I told, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur explains that my appearance can be known only by my unprecedented mercy and by no other means. That means, unless Krishna reveals, it is very difficult to know. The Devatas do not know my most extraordinary birth. Why he explains? Because yes, the Devatas may not know because they are absorbed in material pleasure, but the sages must know me. What he writes, that sages, they must know me. So then he writes, the Lord explains the reason why they do not know, because I am the cause of all of them. In all ways, they do not know about my birth, just as the son cannot know the birth of their father. So now we'll go to Baldev Vidyabhushan, what he explains. So the Devatas, starting from Brahma, the great rishis such as Kumaras, do not know my status with its lordship, Parabhavam, the extended, dazzling form and qualities and the power which will make them dizzy. Why is this? It is because I am their origin, the first cause in all ways, Sarvashaha, as the cause of all their appearance and the bestower of their intelligence and the other qualities, since I give them all of their positions as Devatas and their power being satisfied with their worshipping me. Thus they do not know me, who am eternally perfect in myself, nor do they know my powers. So in Bhagavad Gita 15, Krishna explains, Sarvasya chaham riddhi sannivisto matta smritir jnanam apohanam cha. Now let it be demigod and other things, they are not independent. So also they get knowledge from Krishna. So the three things we should remember: knowledge, remembrance and forgetfulness. That it is in Krishna's hands. That is not in our hand. So that we should understand. Then he mentions that from the Shruti, what he explains, who knows clearly in this world can proclaim from where the universe was born, from where this creation has come. The Devas came later than the creation. Therefore, who knows where from they arose? This has mentioned in the Rig Veda. So Baldev Vidyabhushan quotes Rig Veda, that in material world there are so many things, like in today's world also there are so many phenomena in the material world today. So scientists, they can't explain. So many things are there in today's world. Simply they say yes, you have to have faith. They can't explain. So certain things we have to accept. Like Shankaracharya also has given one nice verse. So what he explains, Narayano Paro Avekta. What he explains, for Narayan there is no cause. For Narayan, he is the cause of himself. So this way, so there are certain people, so they have given the exact definition. And Madhvacharya, what he explains, the word Prabhava means supremely sublime, divine appearance, denoting the splendorous glory of Lord Krishna as the source of all creation and the origin of all beings. Therefore, all principles spoken herein are the self-evident premises. If the demigods and all other gods existed previous to the Supreme Lord, then they would have been aware of His manifestation, or would perceive Him through their comprehensive awareness. Hence, it is self-evident that they were not existing. Also, one good reason given by Madhvacharya, because they were not existing before the Supreme Lord. So he explains, Lord Krishna states that the word Aham, Adi, he means he is the root origin of all. So it is self-evident, how could other gods know him before, when the entire material manifestation is subservient to him. So that we read in the second canto of Bhagavatam. So what Lord told Brahma, that yes, I was existing before this creation. Also Ramanujacharya, what he explains, the myriads host of demigods totaling 33 million in charge of universal management throughout all creation, and even the great liberated sages who are highly illuminated and capable of super subtle perception, knowing past, present and future, are both not incognizant of the Supreme Lord. Now we should know that certain demigods and even like Narada and all, they know past, present and future. They can perceive to a certain degree, to a maximum degree also. Like Narada, he came to Vrindavan one day before Lord Krishna leaving for Mathura, and Narada, he told Krishna, yes, like today you killed Keshi, and now tomorrow you are going to Mathura, there you will kill all the demons, the wrestlers, then you will kill Kamsa, after that you will go to Dwarka, then you will kill so many demons. So this is what is going to happen in the future. So Narad could see that, he could foresee. But here it is mentioned that even the sages, Ramanujacharya explains, even they know past, present, future, because still they can't pursue, because they are not born before Lord Krishna, and there is no cause for Krishna's birth, that we should understand, and that is that can't be questioned. And another Acharya, what he explains, one may wonder how to remedy the fact that there are so many philosophers, theosophical thinkers and erudite scholars who are unable to realize Lord Krishna's supreme transcendental position as the cause, source and ultimate controller of all creation. To argument this view, Lord Krishna, referring to the demigods and the great liberated sages, states that the words na vidu, which means that even they are unable to understand him. Neither Indra, the chief of the celestial demigods, nor Bhrigu. So now this Bhrigu sage is being quoted oftentimes. So all of you know there's one story. It is mentioned in the Bhagavatam 10th canto. So one time the sages, they were doing a yajna and they were offering the oblations. Narada, he came and he confused them. So to whom you are giving the oblations? You should know who's the supreme. And what, as per my understanding, there is a Brahma, Vishnu and Shiva. So better you direct someone to go and test. So all the sages, they selected Bhrigu Muni. So now Bhrigu Muni is a big story, but make it short. So Bhrigu, he first went to his father, Brahma is his father. So when he went into the court of Brahma, so he didn't offer pranam. So Brahma, he became very angry, he became very red, somehow he couldn't speak out. So he could perceive by just seeing the face of Brahma. So he get lost from there. So then he came to Kailash, and seeing Bhrigu Muni coming, Shiva became very happy, my brother is coming. So he wanted to embrace Bhrigu. He said, hey, no, you are putting so many skulls, not clean. So Shiva became angry, he took out his trident, he wanted to just kill off Bhrigu. But Parvati somehow, she solaced Lord Shiva. So Bhrigu, he left that place. So then he came to Kshasagar, where Lord Vishnu was lying in his Yoga Nidra. So then he hit the Lord on the chest. So then Lord, he responded, so I feel you are not hurt in your feet, let me see. So what we see, Bhrigu, he wanted to test. So he took a very high degree of test. So whatever it is. So this way, in material world, what Prabhupada writes, that this material philosophers, what Prabhupada writes, even one day, if they make an aeroplane by which a speed they may go to Garbhodak Sagar, and they will see the large body of Lord Vishnu, still they will not be able to realize, yes, Vishnu is the cause of everything. So that is what is happening in today's world. There are so many astronomers, there is a Darwin, these people, they are Mahajan. What Prabhupada writes, in today's world there are Mahajans in all field of knowledge. In today's world there are Mahajans in all fields of knowledge, and unless they accept the scriptures, so they have no source of understanding the Supreme Lord. And Prabhupada writes, explains in this lecture, that there are so many libraries full of books which are useless, because they are speculating so many things about that. So in brief, we'll conclude like today. So Krishna 10.2, he explained that how that neither the hosts of demigods nor the great sages know my origin or opulences, for in every respect I am the source of the demigods and the sages. Hare Krishna. So anyone has any question, comment? Yes, Prabhu.
So probably, as you explained, the scholars, scientists,
Yeah.
they don't understand who is the Supreme Personality. It is because of their false ego they are not able to understand us.
No, actually there is one commentary by Ramanujacharya. Prabhupada quotes that in Bhagavad Gita 7.14, that once they accept the scriptures, then they are bound to follow. Like, especially there are, in India olden time, there used to be this people, Fulan Devi and some other people, what do you call them? Dacoits. Like in Karnataka, there was one dacoit, he used to steal, Veerappan. So they never surrendered, because once you go to the jail, then you are bound by the rules and regulations. You are given a number, you have to put on the dress, then you have to do so many hard work, other things. So once you go into the jail, you are bound by the rules and regulations. So similarly, if the scientists, once they say, yes, I agree with Bhagavad Gita, I agree with the soul and other things, then they are bound to follow all the scriptural things. So that's why they don't agree with what the scripture says. Now, Prabhupada, he explains the forefathers and the Europeans who went to America. So what they print in the dollar, in God we believe. Okay, at least they had that faith. About 2 centuries ago, they had faith. What they have put, so far they have kept it on the dollar, unfortunately. But now today, modern, like the more educated people today, like there is one survey conducted, like those who become PhD and all, they become more atheist. Now in today's world, 70% of the PhD, they are atheist. 70% of the people who do their PhD, so more or less they become atheist. That is what is seen. Yes.
What are the 5 kleshas? How can we end them by devotional service?
That is 5 kleshas means hunger. 5 kleshas. There is one is thirst, hunger. Now I forgot. There are 5. This किसको मालूम है 5 kleshas? नहीं, there are 5 kleshas. अभी वो मेरे पास नोट में देखना पड़ेगा. तो आपको मालूम है, you know the 5 kleshas. So yes, one is avidya, one is hunger, one is thirst, one is lamentation. So these only can be overcome by devotional service, because you have to come to the knowledge. Tamasoma jyotirgamaya mrityumma amritam gamaya. So once one comes to the knowledge, so then, like today, the cause of suffering, what Prabhupada writes, ignorance is the cause of suffering. Like today, more or less people, what we see in material world, why people are suffering, because they are ignorant. They don't understand what is the truth and what is untruth. And today, more or less the media, what we hear in the media, 80 to 90% is not truth. It is untruth. For example, now there are so many theories about corona. There are so many offshoots. They are telling there are so many versions of coronas. Now they are telling like that. So in the past, people were living without vaccination, isn't it? Now what they say now, even after taking corona, you have to put on the mask, and this injection, whatever you are taking, it will last only for 8 months. After that, you have to take another. That means their business will go on eternally. So in this today's world, there are 3 big tycoons. They are called warlords. Warlords means those who make all this war weapons. The second is food industry, Adani and Ambani. Okay. The third is pharmaceutical. Then oil comes 4th. Oil is on the 4th number. So these are the 3 big tycoons. They are ruling this world. It's very difficult. Yes, you have some comment?
Second, just now we discussed even the demigods and the great sages have tried to understand Krishna.
They can't understand. Yes.
In the previous verse,
First.
Great sages, the previous verse, the great sages like Parasramani have all accepted Krishna as the spirit of God. He gave the explanation.
Accepted, not all. See, there is accepting is different. Realizing different. I can accept you as temple president, but that is not the truth. So, thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki, Bhagavad Gita ki.